who should be drinking ayahuasca. And it's one of the points which I find to be one of very impactful topics in your ayahuasca preparation. So what happens if you don't follow the ayahuasca diet? What are myths around ayahuasca preparation and what actually makes a difference? In this video, you will find a no BS guide to ayahuasca preparation and also the top 2 things that actually impact the profoundness of your ceremony. Let's start with an essential point, and it's who should be drinking ayahuasca. And this is if you take antidepressants, specifically SSRIs, or medications that impact your brain chemistry. That also applies to ADD medication. Also, the first topic, it's important to look at an individual situation as well, how long you need to suspend certain medications, consult with a doctor, then certain physical conditions like heart disease, certain respiratory diseases. Some are fine, some are not fine. Also, what is very important is psychiatric conditions. And that includes like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, borderline personality, because the people with these conditions, they experience very strong ups and downs, which can be even magnified with ayahuasca, not just in the ceremony, but after as well. So it's very important to be careful with that. And the last one is epilepsy. If you have epilepsy, it's not good to drink ayahuasca. Recent surgeries is also something to pay attention to. And again, about these things, it's best to consult with a doctor. We have one part of our staff as well. So if you have a question about it, even though if you're not coming to our place, you're more than welcome to reach out. What is important to avoid before drinking ayahuasca? One of it is hard drugs. That is very important to at least 7 days before stop it. Obviously, the longer, the better. Also, cannabis, alcohol, other psychedelic substances as well, because they all impact the brain chemistry in a different way. And ayahuasca is a very strong medicine as well, and you don't want to mix too many energies. What about the diet, the food part? In Colombia, it starts 1 week before your ceremony, and 7 days before, leave out red meat, garlic, and nuts. 3 days before to 5 days before, coffee and lactose products, and then the day of the ceremony, citrus fruits. So it's actually not even that many things from a dietary standpoint that you need to watch out for. The Western point of spirituality is a lot around veganism or being vegetarian, and it's okay, but people in South America eat meat. So it's recommended to leave out red meat, but it's totally fine to eat chicken, to eat fish before your ceremony and before the time before the retreat. Another part of your ayahuasca preparation is figuring out your intention. Why do you want to be drinking ayahuasca? We have a specific video for that. It's important that it's coming more from the heart and less from the head. There's also differences in a specific intention where you really want to nail in a topic, or you want to have more broad topic like healing or growth. And sometimes even you're not really able to explain your intention, but you more feel a calling towards ayahuasca. That's okay too. The mental preparation can help you also become more clear on your ayahuasca intention. It's about spending time by yourself, going on a walk, being in nature, doing your spiritual practice, whether it's meditation, yoga, creatively expressing yourself. Those are things that can help to create that silence within. One thing that I actually recommend people to do is to not do too much research on ayahuasca, because in the end, nothing can truly prepare you for your own individual experience of ayahuasca. Everybody has that individual connection with the plant. And if you do too much preparation, you then think like, hey, this is how an ayahuasca ceremony needs to be. You create a level of pressure around it. And I know that's obviously like a very fascinating topic and one wants to know the most possible things, and it's okay too, like check out our YouTube video. At the same time, I actually think if you know you're going to a good place, that you're going to be taken care of, that you trust in the ayahuasca, you don't even need to do a lot more research than that. And that ties into our next point about managing your expectation for ayahuasca. Intention and expectation is something different. The intention is why you want to drink ayahuasca. The expectation is how it needs to happen and what your ceremony will be like. But it's a little bit like chasing a butterfly. And if you like try to get it, it's always gonna go away. And by knowing that in the end you're looking for the healing in ayahuasca, and the healing can come through many different ways. It can come through a very strong experience, it can come through a milder experience, it can even come through a no apparent effect in the ceremony as well, and just like more in the days and weeks after the ceremony. And by reducing that level of expectation that like I need to resolve all of my life problems in this one ayahuasca retreat, can actually like bring a level of calmness into your life. In the week leading up to the ceremony, it's also important that you become aware of what content you consume, what environments you expose yourself. Like, don't look at violent movies, at horror movies, things that are emotionally charged. Even like watching a lot of news can impact your ceremony as well. Doing adrenaline charged activities, those are things like, leave it best to another time. So you want to create more silence within yourself and be very mindful of what you feed your conscious and then subconscious mind, because in a way ayahuasca is showing you what's going on in your subconscious, and you want to fill it with uplifting content and not some garbage, let's put it that way. Now we're coming to one of the points which I find to be one of very impactful topics in your ayahuasca preparation, and it's about eliminating your coping mechanism. Your coping mechanism is basically the thing that you do when you're angry, when you're stressed, frustrated, sad, alone, bored, whatever it is, things that you distract yourself with. For some people, it's scrolling Instagram. For others, it's eating sugar. And if you're honest with yourself, you know what it is. So you want to eliminate that, and that will force you to spend more time with yourself. There will also come up some uncomfortable emotions, but it's really good because things are starting to loosen up in your subconscious, and it's going to be easier for that to come up and then to be able to release it in ceremony as well. One thing you might notice in your ayahuasca preparation is that level of self-sabotage, maybe the ego becoming very strong, that loud critical voice. And we like to say your ayahuasca ceremony doesn't start when you drink the ayahuasca, but when you make the decision to drink ayahuasca. In the moment you say hey, I really want to do it, you register for the retreat, but maybe then 5 days before, those anxiety, those nerves, the self-sabotage can come up. Why am I even doing this? This is stupid. Will I be safe? I don't know all these people. No, I'm doing good. I don't even need ayahuasca. And it can, that level of self-sabotage can come. So if that's happening for you, know that it's normal and it's part of the process as well. In those times, it's good to, take a deep breath. Remember your initial intention to why you wanted to drink ayahuasca in the first place. Also, through the preparation of ayahuasca, you're obviously starting to restrict yourself, letting go of many things that you would normally be doing. And that's also something very beneficial, because through that, every time you're not consuming social media, or you stop eating whatever you normally like, whether it's coffee in the morning, you are thinking about, hey, why am I doing this? And it can remind you of your intention again. And if you find something to be very difficult to avoid, then it's not the end of the world if you would do it, but also remembering your intention and the significance of your intention, and then saying hey, I'm looking for all of this healing. I think I can go today without coffee. Another topic which is part of the ayahuasca preparation is intercourse and ayahuasca. And it's the best to abstain 7 days before, but at least 2 days before your ceremony. And there's various reasons for it. It's an energy exchange, and in a way you want to go into an ayahuasca ceremony with your energy and not as much as your partner's. Also, it's a different situation if you're having one-night stands or if you have a long-term stable relationship. But something to be mindful of, that through that an energy exchange is happening. Also, if you find it very hard to abstain from it, it most likely is a sign that it's a coping mechanism for you, and it will be really good to actually stop. Another part of it is that for men, if you during intercourse, you lose energy and you want to be filled with energy for the ceremony. So that's another thing to consider around it. Something that many people like to do before ayahuasca is fasting, but it's not something that we recommend for the reason that not every spiritual practice is compatible. Obviously, through fasting, you can detoxify the body, you can become more focused, more concentrated. There's so many benefits to it, but it also takes a toll on the physical body. And drinking ayahuasca actually requires a lot of physical strength. And if you go into the ceremony like, without any energy, it's gonna be not beneficial for your ceremony. If you are fasting regularly, it's okay to, like fast a day, let's say, before your ceremony, but eat on the day of your ceremony. Also because if you're fasting, your stomach can be more acidic, and through that, it can take the ayahuasca longer to take effect as well. The second thing that really impacts the profoundness of your ceremony are actually the purgatives that we use here in the Colombian tradition. Because by cleaning your physical body before, the ayahuasca is going to be able to work deeper within yourself as well. So there's more than 200 different purgatives with the tribe that we work with. It's something that usually is a multiple hour process, going to the bathroom, not something which is that you would look forward to, but it's kind of like the extra credit for the homework that you can do. So if you are a serious student or want to do the extra credit, then talk with us, and that purgative does make a difference in the profoundness of your ceremony. So what happens if you don't follow the ayahuasca diet? So there are two different things that we generally observe. The first one is that the ayahuasca works more on a physical level. So a higher level of purging, more vomiting, more diarrhea, because you need a healthy vessel to also receive the messages of the spirit. So in that case, you also miss out on the profoundness of an ayahuasca experience by not preparing well enough. However, that's not always the case. I feel like with ayahuasca, some people it's very tight, and it really needs time for those people to open up. But also at another times, it's just it needs to take the lid off and it comes out. We had a situation, it was over 2 years ago at this point, where somebody was asking for a private ceremony, only had a couple of days left in Colombia before leaving, and said yeah, but Oliver, to be honest, I've done exactly the opposite of the ayahuasca preparation. I drank alcohol, I smoked weed, I had intercourse, all the things I shouldn't be doing. Can I drink ayahuasca? So we consulted with the doctor, and he said there is no physical risk of him drinking ayahuasca. So we did the ceremony, but he actually had such an amazing and beautiful ceremony, because also I feel like his spirit was ready to have that experience. So obviously it's important to prepare for ayahuasca, but also knowing that you don't have to be perfect and that you do your best. And ayahuasca is a loving plant as well, and helping you with that process. Also, if you do these coping mechanisms, those things that are not good for you before a ceremony, it can also be that these coping mechanisms come up in your ceremony and you see how it's really not healthy for you. And that in of itself can be a very valuable teaching as well. So this is the way that we prepare for the ayahuasca. Also in Colombia, the traditions are a lot more open, whereas specifically in Peru, it's a lot more stricter and tighter. And I would say it's also important to respect whatever tradition you are following, whatever retreat center you are going to go to, because they know the ayahuasca that they're working with. And if they say you need to do no salt for 4 weeks, then might be good to not do salt for 4 weeks. It's not something that is important for us in the way that we prepare for the ayahuasca, but also knowing that there are different traditions, different ways of approaching it, and important to respect that as well. Also, there's obviously so many more questions around ayahuasca. That's why we have this YouTube channel to educate, to inspire for ayahuasca. So check out other videos like finding your ayahuasca intention or 11 tips on how to go deeper into your ayahuasca ceremony. If you have other questions about preparation, write them down here in the comments. Thank you very much for watching the video. Like this video so more people see this information as well. And I'll see you in the next video.